You are creating hope for the family and friends of Harper Moisky. Harper's service will be Sunday, September 14th, and you are creating hope and healing for Sophia Forches, who is in critical condition and who continues to find her way back to full healing. And you are creating hope for Lydia Kaiser, who was released and who is at home with her family. You're creating hope for the staff of Annunciation, for the first responders, for all of those who are grieving, who are lonely, and who are troubled. So thank you. Thank you. Each day we'll have a reflection by a leader, someone who will speak to us in their own way from their own experience about how we live through trauma, how we become a more resilient community, how we become a more engaged and intentional community of compassion and peace. And then we'll have 7 minutes of silent prayer and reflection. We'll start with those 7 minutes with a little sound from a singing bowl. And we'll end with a sound from a singing bowl. And then we'll close with a song, and you'll have an opportunity to put your own thoughts, your own prayers in the chat. Today's reflection leader is Don Samuels. Don and his wife Sandra have had a footprint in North Minneapolis and in the Twin Cities for over 3 decades. And they were the original founders of the Healing Our City prayer tent. We're so grateful to have Don's heart. We're so grateful for his voice. And it is a deep, deep privilege to hear what he will say to us today from his wealth of time, both as a presence on the ground and as one who thinks deeply and tries to live faithfully to the heart of compassion and love. So welcome, Don. And thank you so much for being here.
Good morning. It's so great to see everyone here on such short notice. And I'm pleased to see this screen filled up. I'd never cried about a mass shooting before. I've felt sad, frustrated, but I'd never before been moved to tears. But on August 27th, I spent hours crying and feeling deeply. I was moved by the stories of the carnage, stories of mass helplessness. The idea of kids never having had an active shooter drill at mass, of a mom racing, shoes in hand, a dad running, carrying one child, desperate to find the other. I drove to the site, but only got within blocks of the church. The perimeter had been taped off. A resident sat on her stoop, chin in hand. We exchanged solemn nods, and we knew what we meant. A woman just stood, staring toward the trees that blocked the church. Deep in thought, deep in hurt. Like me, she had just driven there. Police were sent home in tears from what they witnessed inside. A neighbor told me he went to get permission from a cop to get past the tape to his house. I couldn't talk, he said. I just broke down sobbing. It was all life and death. 2 kids killed, 18 injured, 3 parishioners injured. It was overwhelmingly emotional. 2 days later, I came down again to Annunciation Church. The police barriers were down. There were tens of thousands of flowers tended with unprecedented care. I had never seen such carefully curated flowers at any memorial anywhere, ever. Something deeper was happening here. I'd heard speeches from the principal, the governor, the senator, the mayor, the chief, and medical staff, and loving, lucid, passionate clarity from parents. The sentiments were stronger, the feelings were deeper, the messages were focused. And I wondered what it all meant. There was something going on deeper than the obvious. Neighbors and strangers in solemn, thoughtful, and empathetic contemplation. At the hospital, Sam, a nurse, defied exposure and physically accompanied a scared little girl into the CT scan. I had never seen this city so respectful, so present, focused, caring, and so sad. I'd never seen such little talk about a perpetrator. I'd never seen so much focus on love and care and heroism and sacrifice. Why? I believe I have the answer. No greater sermon was ever preached in that sanctuary than a principal, a deacon, and a priest running unarmed towards the hail of bullets. No lesson taught at any mass ever outdid children laying on top of each other, taking bullets. No classroom lesson on kindness could top teachers shielding children with their own bodies. No outreach program ever saw strangers drawn to that church with such overwhelming love, care, and compassion. This is a moment unprecedented in the modern history of our state and city. It is a uniquely heroic and loving reaction to a tragedy, a mass shooting in our country. Now we must exploit our deepened emotions for our good and for the good of the world. Now that our guards are down and our emotions are heightened, now that our heroism is literally commonplace, we are being called to experience this all together in unity and in full awareness of each other. For this moment, we have become less tough, less isolated, less selfish, less apathetic. We've become softer, kinder, braver, more vulnerable, more expressive, more considerate. These are virtues treasured by all the great religions and the healthiest of communities. These are virtues that make our prayers passionate and effectual. Hold on to them. These are virtues that help us discover our higher selves, that make us brave to do what we normally could not do, to be resilient against forces that once seemed insurmountable, to make sacrifices that used to be unthinkable. We must stoke these virtues in prayer and meditation. And so, as we go into this period of prayer, then out into our shared future, let us rise to act lovingly in the world in new and unprecedented ways, funding mental health for all our children, reducing easy access to killing machines, and finally, banning semi-automatic weapons. It's all been tried. It will be difficult, but people who are changed will change the world.
Thank you, Don, for those words of inspiration and compassion. And yes, thank you for those words of challenge. It's hard to know where to begin, but Don invites us to begin by bathing our intentions in prayer. You may think, well, what can my little prayer do? But one prayer combined with another prayer, combined with another prayer, combined with another heart can actually create a strong, united force of love in the world. And so you're invited now to 7 minutes of silent prayer, 7 minutes of communion, 7 minutes to bathe these virtues that Don has spoken to us about. As you emerge from the silence, I invite you to take a deep breath, to remember and experience the breath of life, the breath of love, to remember that our breath is a gift. Don said to us that we could discover bravery, we could discover deeper resilience. And as we prepare to go out in the world, I invite you to think of those moments and spaces and places where you have been resilient before, and to know that the Spirit which lives in all of us will give us the ability to be resilient again. Once again, you are invited to share your thoughts, your hopes, your prayers in the chat. And you are invited to share this link with others. Tomorrow's reflection leader will be Father Dale Kurogi. Father Kurogi is the pastor and executive director of Ascension Catholic Church and Schools here in Minneapolis. And he will bring us reflection from his experience as one who cares directly for children, protecting, creating safe spaces for their growth, for their education. This, my friends, to borrow from the musical Hamilton, is not just a moment, it's a movement of goodwill and compassion. And your presence here today is a part of saying that we believe change is possible and that we intend to be a part of the change we desire to see in the world. So thank you for being brave. Thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for sharing the link. And as we prepare to leave each other today, you are invited to continue praying, sharing, caring, as we continue to heal our world one prayer at a time.